Hey everybody, this is Tell the Truth Sports Radio. I'm your host, Ron Fitch, but tell you the truth about the world of sports. So I'm gonna get right into it. Toronto Blue Jays are destroying the Seattle Mariners 12-2. They were down 2-0 and got beat up in Toronto. And they were turning the favor. And it's always a home run that kind of gets things going when you're in desperate need of a win. And once Julio Rodriguez homered to go up 2-0 for Seattle, you're, let's give you a sweep. But when Andres Jimenez homered to tie the score, it's always that homer that could turn the series around. Not all the way for a win, but turn it around where it's going to be a dogfight now. And then it was a wild pitch, and then a double where Guerrero, who doubled, scored. And then Guerrero hits a home run to make it 7-2. So Guerrero's awoke, and now George Springer's awoke. He's homered, and now they're just destroying Seattle pitching. So they're back in it, and they should be very confident. Everyone has won on the road, which is interesting because in the Dodgers series they won on the road. They're up 2-0 because of Yamamoto and Snell's gem going 8 innings, both pitchers, and that's rare. And the Dodgers are hitting a little bit. Monty's homered, got out of his streak. I was hitless streak, and he's starting to pick up the bat. Otani is still striking out. He's pitching game 4. You got Goslin, who pitched the gym against the Phillies, and Otani, who pitched the gym against the Phillies. So their bats are awake, and I wonder how the champs are going to respond at home. I don't know if they're going to do like Seattle, because Seattle, their crowd is ready to erupt, and the Brewers' bats are dead. Can the Brewers wake up at Dodger Stadium? We'll see. But as for now, this is a series. I'm pretty sure this game is over at 12-2. And then you have the Dodgers playing early. Oh, I wish I was in LA. At that time, Dodger Stadium, 3 o'clock game. Maybe get home, get out your hotel in early time after the game. Twilight in LA. And that's a beautiful stadium. And the Chavez Ravine Mountains it's just gorgeous. Just trust me on that one. Now, Toronto. Max Scherzer has been dusted off against Luis Castillo, who pitched great. But Scherzer, he's older, but he's been known to be a money pitcher. What a great matchup for tomorrow. Now, I'm going to switch to college football. The headlines last week should have been Auburn got hosed. I'm going to do a recap because there's some great games coming up. Vanderbilt, LSU, aforementioned Georgia at home against Mississippi, and Alabama's been balling out playing at home against a very good Tennessee team. So you have those matchups. But last week I wanted to focus on 2 games. Georgia versus Auburn. Auburn's up 10-0 and dominating this game. I'm talking about completely dominating this game. And Auburn, 3rd and goal. Jackson Arnold drives in. You can see the nose of the ball. Touchdown. It's a fumble recovery for Georgia. You got to play it out. But, replay. The officials and people that's looking at the angles from every angle, they're going to rule touchdown. You can see the nose of the ball grazing the end zone. Even the announcer said it. Their judge official that looks at things like that says it's a touchdown. Boom. Okay, 17-0. They'll rule it. A rule on the field, touchdown, 17-0. Now let's see what Georgia's going to do. Can they make a comeback when they're getting thoroughly dominated? They rule of the fumble. Georgia comes right down the field with all the momentum and the air out of Auburn Stadium. And they come down to their credit, and they get 3 points to make it 10-3. Game's over. I said, Georgia not only has momentum, that's so deflating that it was enough for them to outscore Auburn 17-0. Auburn never recovered. And to me, you got to get that right. If it was a fumble, I said it's a fumble. He messed up. He tried to stick his hand over the end zone, or a quarterback sneak. He should have did that or whatever. The nose of the football grazed the end zone. Once it hits the plane, it is a touchdown. When it goes to replay, do the right thing and be honest and call it a touchdown. Okay, it's 17-0. Georgia's down 17-0. I know they're the favorite, but they're down 17-0 on a legitimate touchdown. Should have never been called a fumble. If the officials call it that way, when you go up to the booth, the idea of the replay booth is to get it right. You did not. You compromised the entire game. You compromised almost. You ruined Auburn's season, whatever that's worth. Auburn was playing good. They could have really piggybacked off this win, and they were hosed. I'm trying to get an Auburn reporter on. I reached out to him because I want to interview him, but that was bad. The next one was Indiana going to Oregon and punking Oregon. It was 30-20, but they ran the ball down their throat. And then when they had to pass it off play action, it was done correctly. They ran the ball a lot, but Fernando Mendoza to Elijah Strait to go up 27-20, that was it. And they got a field goal. They shut Oregon down. I mean, you look at the stats, Mendoza was 20 of 31, 215 yards, 127 QBR rating. Hemley ran for 70 yards. Black runs for 31 yards. Mendoza himself runs for 31 yards. They ran, and Oregon likes to run and pass. They've always been that fast break kind of offense. It got slowed down. Moore is accurate, 21 of 34 with 2 interceptions. And Davidson ran the ball for 59 yards. And they didn't run the ball like they wanted to run the ball because it was the game. It was a physical game, but Indiana was more physical on the road in Oregon, in a hostile environment. Extremely impressed. They have one of the best coaches in all of college football. And as he could say, you could Google him. Indiana's in a good spot. Indiana at 6-0, they don't play Ohio State and Michigan. If they don't, MSU, they play Michigan State, home UCLA, at Maryland, at a Penn State. Before I close out, I'll talk about Penn State. Home versus Wisconsin, and at Purdue. They could run a table and everything goes through Indiana until the playoffs, until the neutral site bowls. So Indiana is going to be ranked high, but they do have to play Ohio State or Michigan in the finals. So even if they're undefeated and they lose in the finals, they're still going to get a high seed. So because of the quality wins, very impressed with Indiana. And Indiana could beat them. I looked at Ohio State, and if they could deal with Ohio State's defense and Matt Patricia, how he throws different schemes at you, if they survive that, they're going to be just fine. But my ending was I did a radio show, and I talked about how Franklin should be fired. He got fired. The problem was he only had one big win. That was Ohio State and a lucky blocked kick return for a touchdown. He was visibly nervous. I looked at that against UCLA. They could have waited till the end of the season. I know the fans are going nuts. They're trying to get Matt Rule, and they're trying to bring their quarterback with them. They're going to look at all the candidates. They want a big-time candidate for Penn State because this is still a potentially big-time program.